Day 2. How do you do? Eric Balnar, Anthony Weatherston, Lee Hull, the infamous Lee Hull, making his broadcast debut on the national stage. Welcome, boys. Day 2 of the tournament. It was a great one yesterday. Welcome to everybody across the country. What do we reckon? How are we feeling waking up this morning?
Well, I don't know how you're going to follow up from yesterday, because yesterday was amazing. Like the games, the quality of softball straight off the bat was huge. SA New South Wales in that first game just set the bar high, and the teams just went after it and matched it. It was a great day of softball.
That's the voice of Anthony Weatherston. Lee Hull.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, I'm really excited about being here today and tomorrow and Tuesday, because I'm going to see the best players in Australia that you can produce, and that there's Olympians, Australian representatives, fantastic. So, and the sun's out, so looking forward to it, guys. Great
to have you on the call today and the rest of the tournament. Lee, for those that don't know, Lee Hull calls the local softball action. He actually knows already who won the tournament, how it happened, who hit the winning runs. He predicts the future of these games, but he's being nice and not telling any of these secrets that he knows. So, Lee, thank you very much for that.
Fair comment. Thank you, Eric.
ACT and Queensland, both teams started off 0-2. Both teams have some things to feel good about. Both have some things that they probably would like to forget. For ACT, they started off the tournament taking it to the defending champions in the 3-0 New South Wales Firestarters. They actually had bases loaded, 1 out, and a chance to win that game before New South Wales turned to double play. And then a game they'd like to forget, I'm sure, against Victoria, where they lost 9-1. Queensland, they got out-dueled by 41-year-old pitcher Jade Peterson in a 2-1 loss to a very upstart South Australia offense. That was their first loss, and then they lost 5-2 or 5-3 to New South Wales in the second game. But a game they had some life late, Queensland.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like Holden in that first game against SA, I mean, she only gave up the 3 hits in 7 innings, so it wasn't like that was a lot closer game than you would think.
ACT, meanwhile, they're a very competitive, athletic team. We saw a couple highlight reels. One was in center field yesterday. Look at this catch. I loved watching this. Lay out there, Tess Henman makes a great grab in center field. She's patrolling center field again for ACT with Sam McCready on the left, Bree Kimber in the right. But that infield, a lot of athleticism. Sarah Rio, third base, Claire Warwick, shortstop, Brooke Spence, second, Laura Pardew first, Caitlin Savage catching today. It was an infield that was fun to watch. Like, they competed hard, this ACT team.
Yeah, well, I mean, the earned run count versus New South Wales is 3-2, and they're up. You know, they earned their runs, and, you know, they defensively had one play where it just didn't work out for them, and they were unlucky. So, look, both teams have had overnight to sort of assess their first day.
And Lee, in the circle today, a White Sox pitcher, Team New Zealand national team pitcher, pitcher of the year for New Zealand in the circle. What can we expect from an international pitcher like Lauren Parker in the circle?
Plenty of the top-rated stuff, I would suggest, Eric and Anthony, and I'm so looking forward to seeing how she goes. And as I said before, the sun's out, the field's looking terrific after yesterday. A little bit of rain helps, and let's see how we go. She should be a cracker, boys.
Leading things off is Tamika Whitefield.
Yeah, picked up a hit in the first game against South Australia.
Whitefield is one of the premier players in the competition, only 23 years old. A bit of a changing of the guard for Queensland. The leadership group has certainly shifted to be a younger generation, and Tamika Whitefield certainly near the top of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's only 22, but in a team that's got 9 rookies, she becomes one of their senior players, you know, which is crazy. Played shortstop last night.
And knocking on the doorstep of that Team Australia Olympic selection with the Spirit last year. Swing and a miss. Parker throws one by her. So is Whitefield one of the ones that you can expect to be just that name in Australian softball for Queensland and probably internationally for, what, the next decade?
Well, you hope so. I mean, she's come through the Queensland system, 15s, 17s, 19s, and now obviously with the heat for a few seasons now. So still improving all the time.
Comes from a family of athletes. Her parents, softball players. Her brother plays professional baseball in the United States and in the Australian Baseball League. He's won 2 MVPs and 3 Claxton Shields. So kind of the pedigree that this Whitefield family name comes from.
Yeah, and that's where you get it from, don't you? A lot of the times, genes follows through the generations of the families, and you come up with some terrific players in the end.
Already making Lauren Parker work, and she cracks one over towards third base. It just gets by Sarah Ryu, and Tamika Whitefield, who's got some speed to burn, very alert base runner as well, is aboard, and that's exactly what Queensland would have ordered, an early base runner.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see by the way that Queensland are up and about. I mean, last night in that game against New South Wales, they were jumped early after 2 pitches. They'd already, were down 1-0. So to have their lead off on brings Burton to the plate.
Charisma Burton, she was the Rookie of the Year last time that she played in a state championship or a national championship.
Yeah, Charisma Kerr.
That's her. Yep.
Since been married and has a young child.
Burton trying to throw the small ball. That one slips by, and it's going to be a free base for Tamika Whitefield. It might be 2. It's a throw over to third. She slides in. Ball scoots away. But Tamika Whitefield pouncing on the miscue by ACT, and with no outs, Burton doesn't even need to play small ball anymore because she's got a runner at third.
Yeah, definitely you can see there's an aggressiveness and an energy from Queensland so far today.
Do you mix things up on day 2?
I mean, they would have reviewed, both teams would have reviewed day 1, and, they would have looked at the positives and the negatives. And, I mean, both of them had things to build on. I mean, ACT, as you said, Eric, obviously did a great job against New South Wales. And Queensland, even though they were jumped early by New South Wales, came back late in that game. And we're right there with South Australia early too. So Queensland aren't far away.
Burton, a left-handed bat. Chop swing, she went around. Brett Tyler behind the plate calling the strikes. Lee, you love the umpires. Who are the umpires?
I haven't got the umpires. Haven't been issued them, Eric.
An umpireless game?
Yeah. No, I think there's some umpires out there.
Burton rolls one over towards Parker. Parker tries to check the runner. Whitefield now dashing for home. Throw not in time. An aggressive base running from Queensland by virtue of Tamika Whitefield, and Queensland are up 1-0.
Wow. I mean, that is literally a carbon copy of what happened last night when New South Wales did that to Queensland. So for Queensland to do that early just shows a real big signal of intent. So great positive start. So Charisma, she's behind in the count. She stays with it. And great base running by Whitefield there. Read the play beautifully, made a play at the plate, forced ACT to come up with the goods.
Great team batting, wasn't it? That's what you do. That's what you expect, don't you? Get people on, move them around one way or the other, and then score them if you can. It was terrific.
Erin West up to bat, a former national team player, 31 years old. Puts one into play. Parker knocks it down. This is going to be a difficult play. She throws one over to first. That one a little errant. It was a quick play. Either way, Erin West is standing on first base. Queensland just loaded with that young talent in Weathersley. This woman in the circle, Mo Kurihara, is someone really to watch.
Yeah, last night she came in as a pinch at bat and smashed the ball down the right side. Like, it was one of the hardest hits of the day to keep Queensland rolling in that comeback late last night. So great pinch at bat, and now she's batting in the clean-up spot today.
Looks like a little pocket rocket to me. Obviously got some power.
She and her sister both on this team.
Yeah. Real fast hands. That was the noticeable thing last night, Lee. The swing wasn't huge, but her hands were just so hard and fast at the ball. It was just a lightning bolt that she hit down the right side.
Another 22-year-old on this squad. Both of them, the Kuriharas, predominantly from Cairns as well as Kurihara swings through. You like that pitch, Lee?
I did.
Yeah, that's a good comeback.
Just took a little bit of pace off, not too much, just enough to commit her.
Yep, chased up.
Again, Lee, you love to say the phrase repeat of earlier message, but I'm going to say this statement once, and then we can kind of just say that phrase over and over as a runner trying to bounce to second. Queensland just have a lot of athletes on their team, and all of them seem to be able to run very well. So Dorinda Stone, who's up to bat, is a similar sort of mold as the rest of this team.
Yeah, it's an explosive sport, isn't it? We talk about this a lot, guys. You know, if you've got leg speed, you can play in this sport.
Yeah, Stone came in for a pinch at bat last night. So, but again, you can see there's definitely a super positive, aggressive intent with Queensland today. It's very exciting early.
She's a good player, Dorinda. I remember her in the under-19s here.
Puts the ball into play, diving over to knock it down as Brooks Bench gets the ball over to first. Now a play at home, and aggressive base running has scored another run for Queensland.
Yeah, Captain Aaron West, that's great base running. Leading by example there.
Aaron West somehow gets all the way around the bases to make it a 2-0 game. Dorinda Stone is going to stand on first. But how was the diving effort from Brooks Spence?
Yeah,
and then
fantastic.
Wow.
And we just mentioned that before that pitch about leg speed, what it can do. And that's what scored the second run. Both times caused by leg speed.
Speed and pressure is what won New South Wales all 3 of their games yesterday. And Queensland modeling after that, and they've done a really good job of getting runners on and just pouncing.
Yeah, as you just see there with the Eastern replay, just how quick, how much she'd made her mind up early there as she gets sent by Coach Jenkins. Just
wasn't even a conversation.
No, ACT under all sorts of pressure here.
Well, it's a game that, well, to be fair, both these teams, I hate using the word must win because there isn't 8 games in here, but it's a game that would be really nice to have staring down the barrel. Both these teams have an 0-3 start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Harari Kurihara puts it into play over to third. Charging on is Sarah Rio. Rio has to eat it. And again, an infield hit, pressure on the defense. It's runners on the corners with 1 out.
And there's nothing you can do about that as a defensive player, can you? The ball was chopped into the ground, goes bouncing up, and that takes time. Third base did everything she could to get there, but leg speed again.
Yeah. So it's a 2-0 game, runners on the corner and 1 out, or 2 outs, sorry. But as Siva comes up to bat, runner driving over to second, and they tried the double steal. They made the throw anyways. But how many balls have been hit to the outfield in this first inning?
Not a lot.
One went out the leadoff batter went out there, didn't she, Tamika? Went through third base. So that's the only one I've got down. So put the ball on the deck and see what you can do. Let's see your leg speed.
Well, if Queensland's strength is that athleticism and speed, then that seems like a pretty good equation, doesn't it, Coach?
Yeah, just absolutely. And Sinavasiva?
Yep, Tallulah Silvanasiva, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the girl last night that basically lit Queensland up when they started that comeback in the 5th with a triple. She hit it down the third base line. Real hard shot to get Queensland underway.
Just a young kid, and she's got so much power. Ball slips away again. It's going to be a throw at home, and she's safe. So sliding in there, Dorinda Stone, and it's 3 runs on the board for the Queensland Heat. Another runner advances to third, all scored in remarkably similar fashion.
It's amazing. It's just pressure and just good base running, good aggressive base running. We saw New South Wales, I think, sent the template for that yesterday with Cox, Keevers, the way that they just kept on pressuring the field. And Queensland have taken a leaf out of that book today.
Ball slips away again, and it's going to be a 4th run on the board for Queensland. Harari Kurihara, Harari Kurihara touches home, and it is now a 4-0 lead.
Well, Tallulah hasn't played a shot in anger yet, but scored 2 runs in the turn at bat. So stats can be a bit misleading, can't they, guys?
Boy, it just puts so much pressure back on ACT when they got a bat, knowing that they're already scrapping from behind.
Yeah, I mean, and you said before, Eric, I mean, nobody likes to say that it's a must-win game, but when it's a Final 4 going through, you know, in an 8-game tournament, I mean, this is a massive game for both teams. So,
especially because that first matchup is so important when you go down to tiebreakers later on, and it runs against are another huge one. So even when you lose, you kind of want to limit that damage.
Yeah. So this is all done on 2 out at the moment. So this is a great rally by Queensland.
Sivanasiva, watch her. All reports she can drive that ball
Well, she's the daughter of a famous rugby league player for Queensland. I always watch the State of Origin. Her father was a terrific player, and she looks like she's inherited the strength from him as well.
Swing and a miss for Sivanasiva. She's only 16 years old, and she's already made an impact in the tournament. Strikes out there, but Queensland will be happy with that. 4 runs on the board. It's almost as many runs as they scored all of yesterday, and they get it in the first inning. So well done to Queensland, and now we'll turn the tables and get a look at how ACT will respond.
And we get to see the Queensland pitcher too. This is real exciting to Chelsea Zonker, who's her pedigree, her resume, under 16 national champion, under 18 national champion just recently.
Player of the tournament, right?
Player of the tournament, player of the final. So lots to like. Exciting to see how she goes here.
Just 17 years old, and people rave about Chelsea Zunker. When you talk to the Queensland coaching staff, they love what they have from Zunker. You talk to oppositions, and even when you're talking to South Australia, New South Wales, when they're scouting other teams, they have kind of circled, well, 55 on Queensland. She might be 17, but there's a tremendous amount of respect. She hasn't even pitched at the senior level yet, and there's already that respect. That's crazy.
Yeah. And look at the build on the girl. Terrific, isn't it? Tall, athletic, powerful legs. Pitcher. She's a dead set pitcher.
And the coaching staff yesterday, like Coach Jenkins, I mean, they didn't use her. She was the only player that didn't get used. So the other 3 pitchers went through. So,
and isn't that a luxury, not being able to use your number 1 pitcher?
Yeah. Well, that's certainly what they will hope that she can develop to. It looks like Sandy Holden might be the ace of this squad, but I think it's up for debate almost on every staff about who emerges in this tournament with so much player turnover.
Yeah, I mean, and they're so young. That's the thing. We talked about it at probably length yesterday about the turnover between tournaments. You were talking about 2016 to 2019, and obviously with the missing Gillies Shield because of the COVID pandemic, but this time round with the amount of retirements, the amount of opportunities for Canada Cup, World Games, these players are not only representing their states, I mean, they're playing for opportunities to represent their country, and you can see that they're definitely performing at that level.
Brooke Spence is up to bat. She leads things off for AC, one of the most athletic players in the competition. Coaching staff calls her next level when it comes to her training. She played for the Matildas 5 games in soccer. She's represented Australia in the junior spirit. So Brooke Spence, an athlete, played for Brisbane in the W League. A Queensland player, that now in the ACT, a very helpful player. So I'm sure going against her former state, current, what do you call that? I guess it's a...
Is that so I've just been called for a balk there, I think. Brought her hands together and then stepped away. So
good to see Tamika Whitefield, one of the leaders, just to get in there and give her a little bit of encouragement right after that. So Spence, Rio, and Warwick lead things off, and there's that kind of power that Brooke Spence has. The top part of this lineup generated some runs and opportunities for ACT yesterday.
Yeah. So Whitefield, the 22-year-old, comes in and shows some leadership to the 17-year-old, and we're at the Open Women's Nationals. It's amazing, how you see players lift and perform. That's a good piece of the ball, though, by Spence.
Spence hugging that third base line.
Yeah, change up there, dropped about 12 Ks off of her first pitch.
And it was the correct pitch to throw, because once you see somebody pull you hard to left field, you need to take the pace off.
Yeah.
Because they've got quick hands. Look at the size of this girl. She obviously can run and she can hit the ball. So she's not going fence, she's just trying to hit the ball in the gap. Use her leg speed.
Brooke Spence, Sarah Rio, and Claire Warwick, the gun, leading things off for ACT. Alexis Cooper, who drove the ball well yesterday, followed by Caitlin Savage, Tess Hedman, Bree Kimber, Sam McCready, and Laura Pardew. Defensively, left to right, Charisma Burton, Aaron West, and Rhiannon Kemp in the outfield. Spence swings through it, so Chelsea Zunker in her first at-bat at the Senior Open women's level gets a strikeout.
Yeah. It was out of the zone, wasn't it? And but it just committed her. She was eager to get on there, and that's what happens when you bat lead off. You get a good piece of the ball, you think, I'm on top of this, and sometimes you just can't quite handle the one that's just beat you.
Sarah Ryu up to bat. Dorinda Stone, third base. Tamika Whitefield, shortstop. Mo Kurahara, second. Talua Siva Nasiva at second. Well, the average age of this infield is what, like 20? It's not very old. And Sam Robin catching Chelsea Zunker.
Average age of the team's 24, so.
And that includes 41-year-old Sandy Holden.
I was just thinking too, just with the catcher there, Samantha Robin, or Sam Robin, she's actually used to play for ACT, couldn't get in, didn't get an opportunity there, has moved to Queensland, and this is her first national, so
wow,
pretty excited. She'll be feeling this game will probably mean a bit more to her than most, and a left-handed catcher too, something that you don't see every day. So
wow. Sarah Ryu from Western Australia, right on the periphery of that national team selection. Very talented player, a pressure point player, as we called her yesterday. Can just be versatile, hurt you in a few different ways.
yeah,
I tell you what, Chelsea Zunker is so composed, and nothing seems to faze her. She gets the illegal pitch. No, it didn't change her expression at all. Just gets about her business.
Yeah, didn't panic about it.
That's fantastic for a young player.
Big hit off towards the left side. Charisma Burton scoops it up, but Sarah Rio gets aboard with a single for ACT as they try to respond to that 4 spot that was put up against him in the first.
And sometimes with the left-handed hitters, guys, you can play a little bit too deep at left field because the shot that comes out there normally goes where it landed, around about that general area. Just an observation.
protect the middle here, Queensland.
Claire Warwick had a few shots up the middle yesterday.
Yeah, so, I mean, Rio had done that yesterday, and then obviously the gunman, Claire Warwick, comes to the plate, and she went 3 for 4 against New South Wales with 3 hits up the middle, and had an opportunity at the end of the game to sort of bring it home. But, yeah, she was amazing in the field too as well.
Well, Claire Warwick's been a very good player for over a very long period. She's a terrific, played for South Australia 1 year. I think she came in, was a pickup player for us in the Gillies Shield. Yes, I'm sure she's got some tricks in her bag here.
So Zunker's up ball and, you know, her main strike pitch at the moment, sitting in at 89 to 91. So she's sort of comfortably sitting in at her pace, and she's not trying to overextend. She's got a good 10, 12K change on her changeup. So,
and you can buy some outs with that too, because they just pop it up in the air. They get hold of it like that.
Yep.
Right on cue, Lee. Like we said, he predicts the future, Lee Hall.
He does. But that up ball, I mean, that's looking good, you know, so to get Warwick chasing on that. I mean, that's the scout report on the catcher, Sam Robin, is that she's a bit of a bookworm, that she's, you know, taking notes, and she's would have done a bit of scouting and stuff like that. So expecting some smart calling today from Queensland.
Well, you have to at this level, don't you? If you don't do your homework, you're just going to get blown away.
And here's the big advantage of that left-handed catcher with the runner on first. You've got that big open look, trying to keep him nice and pinned in the first base.
Alexis Cooper standing in for ACT, had a couple hits in the broadcast game versus New South Wales yesterday.
Yeah, she followed, I mean, following Claire Warwick would be no easy thing, but she did a great job with that yesterday. Was unlucky behind the plate with that play that scored the runs. It wasn't, you know, it was a deflection off of a player. It had nothing to do with her, which was a bit of a shame, but, you know, she definitely moved on from that. Obviously one of the leaders in this team with her experience.
Is this runner going to go here? I'm just thinking she might.
2 out.
Well,
Robin, there's that throw over towards second.
and she did.
Well timed from Sarah Rio. She just got in there.
Just for anybody thinking that we're just making that up about Lee, he does predict the future.
Yeah, he knows who's won the tournament, and he just won't tell us.
Pretty close to correct that time, wasn't it?
Lee. Cooper now with the runner in scoring position, and There it goes, smacked over towards left field. It just doesn't find the gap. Charisma Burton underneath it. So in the debut inning for Chelsea Zunker, she gets a strikeout, she neutralizes the gun, and then gets a fly out or a line out from Alexis Cooper. And no harm, no foul. It is a 4-0 Queensland lead after the first.
Yeah, bang. But the good signs there, the intent from ACT is that they're not obviously just going to sit there and, try and pick away at this lead. They were aggressive, but Zunker was super impressive in that first.
Well, don't forget yesterday, Queensland, or ACT rather, were down 5-1 to New South Wales late in the game, and then they scored 2 runs in the 6th, and then it had bases loaded and 1 out late. So ACT, a very plucky team that has a lot of self-belief, and I don't think you can really count them out until it's actually over.
Oh no, we're one innings in. And they scored first. Yesterday with Claire Warwick getting that early shot to score their run, and then New South Wales answered. So they'll keep coming. I mean, Queensland were 5-zip down last night before they turned around and kept coming. So.
James Harris is watching all the action on the back diamond. New South Wales is playing Victoria. Small band of rain apparently on its way in. Might come in hard and fast is all we hear. Don't have any updates in terms of scoring from that game. But James Harris will provide updates throughout the morning from Diamond 2.
So ACT have made an early change here at top 2. So they've just changed their catcher. So Caitlin Savage comes out, and the girl that's just batted for Alexis Cooper has come in from the DP position.
Alexis Cooper got really unlucky yesterday in that game where trying to throw a couple runners out at home that were sliding in and literally just hitting cleats and bouncing away. It was just a cycle.
In the end, as a coach, you would just say to a player like that, it's just a comedy of errors that you're just completely not in control of. So there was nothing. You could just see that her shoulders, dropped, and it was a real shame. But as I said, she made sure that she didn't. She got back in and she kept trying to help her teammates out. So.
Samantha Robin, Rhiannon Kemp, and then back to the top with Tamika Whitefield. 4 runs in the first inning, only off there's 4 hits in it, but none of them were that hard hit balls. It was just opportunistic base running and forcing ACT to make some mistakes in the field, and that's how Queensland have a 4-0 lead in a game that, well, from a Queensland perspective, they do not want to start 0-3.
No, and like as I said, they've obviously reviewed a bit of yesterday. I mean, they obviously got into town on late Friday, so look, it's a big ask, and their training, as when you were talking to Coach Jenkins, you're talking about the fact that obviously they've also had an interrupted preparation. They've trained at 4 different locations, 7 different diamonds. It's been a difficult preparation for the teams on the Eastern Seaboard. So, to be honest, just to have him here, that's the great part.
Coach Jenkins says he's been feeling like he's been living out of his car because you don't have a home base to even simple things that you probably take for granted, like having a place to store all of your gear. It's all in the boot of the car of their coach, and they go to all these different fields, and one day this field's fine, the next day it's underwater, next day it's been booked up. It's tough preparation for Queensland for this tournament. So it's remarkable that they're here and they're competing, and now they're up 4-0 in this game.
We had a men's nationals there a long time ago up at Redlands, and I remember there was some rain some Queensland rain up there, and the 2 backfields were genuinely underwater, like you could swim in them. That's the type of rain that we're talking about. So yeah, look, they've all done it tough, but so here we go in the top of the 2, and leading off for Queensland is the catcher, Sam Robin. Left-handed throw, right-handed bat.
Ball just down low. Lauren Parker still in the game. She didn't pitch too bad of a first inning. Got a little unlucky with some of the defensive miscues in the field. Came over from New Zealand for this tournament. Had a couple exhibition games versus the Aussie Spirit a number of years back. When she was a rookie facing them, she had that ERA around 4 or 5. Second time around, hovering around that 2 mark. And the Aussie Spirit have some pretty good batters, so you know she can neutralize threats.
Yeah, absolutely. Off-speed pitch there, dropping down to 81 off of her up ball, which is around the 97, 98 mark. So Cooper already making an impact behind the plate.
Gee, that's a good pitch, isn't it? Catches you out if you've got quick hands. And most of these players at this level have.
Robin just shortening up a little, fouled in the air, laying down to try to make a play as Sarah Ryu just slipped away. It's a good effort.
It's a great effort when you consider you got a catcher in full gear running towards you. Catching the ball doesn't necessarily become the priority, but
Survival mode.
That's right.
Nearly time to abandon ship, you might say.
Good battle. 2-2 pitch. A lot of those balls seem to be going towards that third base side.
Yeah, like yesterday we saw in the early game, there was a lot of the stuff on the left side that was mishit, wasn't hit through cleanly. You know, there was some fly balls from New South Wales early, and then there was a ground out period before they all made their adjustments.
Yesterday, the diamond was a little bit soft at short and second in particular, just because of the rain that happened overnight and leading into the game. It looks like it's firmed up a little bit out there. You don't see the players avoiding that as much today.
No, there was a little bit of rain last night that the ground crew sort of talked about the fact that it had actually helped harden it up a little bit. But, you know, those guys are again out here at, 8 o'clock again this morning, and what an amazing job that they've done from yesterday today in making these grounds come up as good as they are.
That was quicker. That pitch was
Yep, she jumped up to
100.
100. Yeah.
It was obviously quicker and just caught her out then, Sam.
7 pitch first at bat for a lead off in the top 2. Take that every day of the week.
Ball into play. Ryu scoops down across the diamond, makes the play. A very difficult at bat.
Drops down from 100 to 81 on that change and gets it a ground out to third base. That's sort of the type of softball that you expect.
And that's where you buy so-called cheap outs. You know, you commit them, their hands are forward. They just, anybody's going to throw you out from there. Number 9 hitter, isn't it? Rihanna?
Yeah.
Rhiannon Kemp also plays on the under-23s.
Yep, first open woman, another one of the rookies in the Queensland team at 23. Played in the outfield yesterday, got a tough hop on a shot that was basically smashed at her, and had to recover. But then the next batter made a great catch. So
yep.
I think watch out for Rhiannon Kemp. That's what everyone's saying about her, is don't be surprised if she has a little bit of a breakout tournament here. It was with that last Aussie Junior Spirit team that went away. Young in terms of experience, but very similar age to everybody else. Kemp grounds it over to first. A nice take by Lauren Pardo at first.
Handy being left-handed at first base, isn't it? On those sort of occasions.
Get a look at the Easton replay on that, just taking a nice hop. Maybe.
Top of the lineup.
Tamika Whitefield, table set, got on base, had a hit, scored. Aggressive base running, really the definition of setting the table for Queensland and how they played so far.
Gee, that's a lovely pitch.
yeah, it doesn't look completely different from her inside strike that she's throwing in the way that she's releasing the ball, but there's a good 15k change in pace, which is what's making it different. And then she follows it up with a 99k drop ball there, so throwing hard in and low.
You're a big fan, I know, Weathers, of having like maybe your best hitter lead off or bat second, just get that opportunity.
Yeah, had a coach that did that back in my day, Linda Martin, who's obviously a South Australian legend, Hall of Fame, ex-Australian rep, you know, her multi-premiership coach. And she always used to lead off for Walkerville back in the day, and it just sets the tone. You know, your best hitter right up the front, could do everything, could hit, run, triple threat.
There's lots of different schools of thought about how to operate a softball team. That's what makes this game so beautiful, is it's so nuanced and there's so many different ways. But I don't mind that school of thought as Tamika battles away 2-2. Ball up the middle, blocked down by the shortstop Claire Warwick. Throw over to first. And Tamika Whitefield is aboard for the second time today.
Yeah, you can see Warwick's fielding a bit shallower than you probably normally would at shortstop. She actually fielded that ball inside the line because that particular area that she's just come forward of is where we were talking about a little bit of that soft earth was before. So she sort of tried to counteract that by being in front of that space. Ball just came on her a bit hard, but great effort. And again, went low to ground, body behind it. If it misses her glove, it's going to hit her body. And that's just super courage. That's super bravery by Claire Warwick.
That's experience to the fore.
But Tamika Whitefield was just a little too quick. And watch her be aggressive here. This is the 2-3-4 spot in the lineup. So if Tamika Whitefield gets caught stealing, worst case scenario, you start with 2-3-4 in the next inning. And a 4-0 lead.
Absolutely. Yeah, as a coach, that's the type of thing that I'd be looking at. Obviously, it depends on what your hitter's been doing at the plate up until this point. You know, Burton pushed the count last time.
Burton puts the ball into play. Warwick, oh my goodness, gets down, throw across the diamond, what a play!
Wow.
The gun goes bang! Does the splits, gets the out. Unreal.
That is unreal. She's throwing that off her back foot with her legs apart without the ability to build any momentum. That's pure strength that she's throwing that with, and she's throwing it spot on.
What?
And a great stretch there by the first
Laura
baseman,
Pardo.
Pardo, to make that play work. That is, she's actually falling away as that happens. That's insane. Yeah.
What a throw.
That's not only skill, that's confidence. Super confidence in your own ability to do it.
You'd see some players just eat that, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to make the play, don't want to make an error.
Don't throw it.
Yeah.
But that was bang.
Yeah.
To be falling away. Yeah.
The gun. That is, she's been a highlight reel machine. We could have a top 5 Claire Warwick plays already, and we're only on morning of day 2.
Well, if the tournament's anything to go by so far, then Australia's infield stocks are in good hands because the plays that McManus, Warwick have been making. We're in a good space.
Yeah, did Claire Warwick just see all the plays that Stacey McManus was playing and be like, you know what, Macca,
yeah, well, McManus,
the gun's here.
McManus only made 5 plays on her backhand before she got to make a play on her forehand yesterday. So
she was unbelievable at New South Wales yesterday. 8 double plays New South Wales turned in a day. They won 3 tight games in terms of scoreline, and especially in the first 2. If New South Wales don't play defense like they did, they're not sitting 3-0 like they did. It was remarkable to watch, and a lot of fun to see those athletes do what they do as Caitlin Savage leads things off for ACT. Update from the backfield.
This is Michaela Tui. She came in, replaced Savage.
Oh, Michaela Tui, you're right. Yep. Sorry about that. Michaela Tui
right,
pitching in. That's why we have you here, Lee. You knew the change was going to happen anyways. Fire starters up 1-0 after 2 innings. Jasmine Peters with an RBI single. And there's a slow roller back to the mound. Play to first. Out. Wow. Oh.
It was like a billiard shot, wasn't it?
What?
Really, it was on
That was
end
bizarre.
Of the bat, I thought. Yeah.
Easton replay.
Yeah, she's stretched out for it, for sure.
Almost got on base. Chelsea Zunker had to make a good play there.
Yeah.
probably would have dropped down to a 3-iron from a 5-iron, I reckon.
So the update from James Harris is Fire Starters up 1-0 after 2 innings. Jasmine Peters RBI single to score Tolly Moore. Grace Rickson getting the start in that. 4 Ks.
Yeah, she was good.
Innings.
She was good last night.
Versus Queensland. This is Tess Hedman for ACT. Swings at a ball up high. Hedman, a really, really quick player. Showed that highlight at the top of the broadcast, her laying out in center field to make that nice play in their opener.
My favourite, the funniest part of the day was when she handed it to Warwick. If you would mind throwing that for me on...
Well, Chelsea Zunker has her second strikeout. That was a well-placed pitch, my goodness.
Yep, her fastest pitch so far of the day too. That just broke 90.
So she's a young pitcher, only 17, just won the player of the tournament at under 18s. She's throwing low 90s right now. Obviously, she's still developing. She's just a teenager. Bree Kimber up to bat. What does that development look like now for a pitcher in terms of if you want to add velocity in the next step for just, call it generic 17-year-old pitcher that has potential, like Zunker?
Well, Kylie, you always used to say that you used to teach the pace first and then you added control and everything there afterwards, but there's been some mixed thought around, the way that you would approach that. But, I mean, for her, exposure and experience now is what happens. When you sort of reach this level, especially when you get exposed to the likes of Holden, who's going to be able to give you 30-plus years of experience in regards to her journey and so on, you start to pick up a heap of stuff through there. But obviously, you look at the US college system and, the levels that some of those players go to. It's a different pitching methodology. I was reading the Orsini bio, the Charlie Orsini from New South Wales, and the amount of work that she does. And, you can see for a pitcher her age to be thrown at about 102, 103. That's that 10, 12K gap. And that's just going to come from work.
Is it one of those things, too, where you bring all your pieces that you've got in your puzzle box, you put them on the table, you see how it goes at an Open Nationals, and after this you say, all right, this is where I need to get better. Maybe I need a bit 5K more velo here. Maybe I need to work on that off-speed pitch. Maybe I need to learn how to paint the corners a little bit more. You just don't know until you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh, wow, she's just done it again.
Another strikeout, 3 of them.
And it's another up ball too. She's got them on the... that's traditionally those up balls, they break up hard. But hers is sitting in at 89 every time she's gone up, and she's got them. So she even got Warwick chasing up. She didn't get on a strikeout.
Well, it is a 4-0 lead, and boys, great opportunity to get involved and play softball around the country. You can actually find that on the softball national website. How did you guys get involved in playing softball? What was your story about getting involved with softball for the first time, Lee? You didn't have the internet back then in 1843.
Thank you for that vote of confidence, whatever your name is. No, Eric, I got started because I was living, one of my marriages, I was living opposite a lady called Tula Connolly, who's a life member here, and she's come out and said to me, well, you look athletic. What about coming out and do some coaching of softball? And my first reaction was, softball, is that like baseball or is it like rounders? And I soon learned. So after 47 years, I'm here still doing it and loving it even more. And that's how I got started, Eric.
Well, you can go and find your club if you do want to get involved at any age as well. Just get in there and find out how you can play softball.org.au. Go to the club finder and see how you can get involved.
Yeah, Softball Australia website has that, but each of the state websites have the same linkage where you can obviously just put your postcode in and it'll come up with
Aaron West to Claire Warwick. 6-3, another putout for Claire Warwick.
Good take at first.
But yeah, it's a good point. All the state associations, so it doesn't matter where you're living if you're watching this and you want to get involved. And
put in your postcode and it'll tell you, like, if I'm within 10 Ks, what clubs are available to me within 10 Ks, and you can pick on the important things like what's the colour of their uniform or what's their name. pick out your favourites that way.
Well, write your club that you play for in the comments section of this Facebook live stream on the Softball Australia stream. In the next half inning, we'll give you a little bit of a shout out from wherever you're watching from around the country. I'm sure there's people in both Brisbane and Cairns and everywhere across Queensland watching Mo Kurihara up to bat. She's 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. Lauren Parker and the ACT defense looks a lot more settled than they did in the first inning, don't they?
Yeah, well, their second innings was very good, wasn't it? Defensively.
Swing and a miss. Lauren Parker starting to find a bit of mojo. She's retired now 7 of her last 8 batters she's faced.
2 excellent pitches back to back then. It's just too good for her.
Brings up Dorinda Stone. She had a single and scored. It was that shot over towards Brooke Spence that she had to knock down back in the first inning. All 4 of Queensland's runs coming in that fourth, all of them just from aggressive base runners. Whitefield, West, Stone, and Harari Kurihara have scored. Lauren Parker still in the circle. Any update from the backfield at all?
No,
Nothing?
I was just checking in on James just then. Rickson's throwing 4 Ks for the fire starters, but still 1 up.
New South Wales winning a lot of tight ball games right now, sign of a championship team. Won the last 4. Queensland have a lot of championship players, though, on their side from the junior levels.
It's a nice pitch from Parker, just missed.
Tell you what, catcher Alexis Cooper is a tall girl, isn't she?
Yeah, made a massive difference here so far.
So it reminds me a bit of going back a few years to Victorian under-16 side, a girl called Kelly McKenzie. She was really tall, had a gun arm, and you don't often see it, do you? You don't often see really tall catchers. You see them at first base.
Yeah, no, we've got a tall catcher and a left-handed catcher in this game, so we've got a bit of everything.
Stone towards right field, charging on Bree Kimber, diving out, and she made the play! Chuck it on the highlight reel. We've got another web gem. Bree Kimber laying out and making the play.
So good that Cooper, the catcher's gone all the way out to right field to congratulate her. So, look, you can definitely see a bit of momentum changing here.
Yep.
Queensland have had a really super positive, aggressive start, but the ACT are just starting to work their way back into it. Shades of yesterday against New South. They took a little while to get going, but once they did, then the bats started to come and the run started to follow. So,
how's that from Bree Kimber? That's awesome. Great look at the Eastern replay.
Well, Queensland, their first innings, that we know, chaps, 7 batters, they scored 4 runs. Since then, they've had 7 batters in 2 innings and scored 0.
Well, big shout-outs. Big shout-outs from around the country, Lee. Yep. You heard of any of these clubs before? Panthers, Brisbane softball. We got a few Brisbane Panthers softball club watching. Bears softball club. How about the Whispers in ACT?
Whispers. Okay.
We got someone from, I don't know how you pronounce this, the Nairne Angles softball club. For watching Nairn Angels from
Nairn
what?
Angels.
I'm just kidding with you. From
and he's watching
the backup catcher of the Nairn Angels softball club.
He loves the coverage that so much. He lives in West Beach and he hasn't even come to the game.
No, it's great to get the Angels supporting that. The Valley View Eagles softball club. Western Vipers Werribee Beerley Softball Club Geelong. I'm heading out to Geelong on Wednesday. And I'm staying in Werribee, I think. What's good in Werribee? Shout out to that club. And Chelsea is a Panthers.
I always thought Nairn
player.
Angels was the biggest oxymoron I'd seen, actually.
Nah, James Harris, an integral part of that Nairn Angels team. He's
and that's why I
got
said
a few
it.
chocolates out there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty good, apparently. Just ask him.
We've got an update from James Harris on the backfield. Vic threatening it in the bottom of the third. They had back-to-back hits to Mercury and Laird. Then they had runners on second and third with one out, and then enter Stacey McManus. Ground ball to her, gets the lead runner in a trap play for the second
what
out.
a shot that is.
Sam McCready aboard, but all of that, Rickson then gets a K, so McManus, nice defense. Rickson with a K, it's still 1-0. Thanks for the update, James Harris. Back to this game, Sam McCready aboard with a hit.
Shades of mum there. She just chased a ball on the up and just gone with it, and great power.
Gee, your mother was a terrific player, wasn't she?
Yep.
Yeah, excellent player.
Well, it means they're going to have a runner on for Brooke Spence and Sarah Ryu to try to create something to get back in the game. A bunt forward, diving to make the play. That was nearly double trade territory. Either way, Dorinda Stone makes the play. It's one down, and a bunt that didn't quite go according to plan.
Australian selectors are in the house, so good time if you're a young player to be doing some good things.
Hey, Chucky, come on out.
Brooke Spence back to the top of the lineup. Chelsea Zunker with 3 strikeouts so far, the impressive 17-year-old pitcher from Queensland. There's a few impressive pitchers from Queensland, aren't they? You got a good look at a couple of them last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Young Coulter, who unfortunately just walked into a New South Wales ambush early, but the young girl that came on late in the game, Emily Solomon, sorry, she was impressive.
Swing and a miss from Brooke Spence. Zunker just making her chase.
Yeah.
Nearly bounced before it got to her, didn't it? Really?
Yeah, Robin's doing a great job of just, even though most of her pitching is, in that 87, 89 category, she's just doing enough with those subtle changes on those off-speed pitches to be doing some serious damage. So
ball up high. Robin trying to keep Sam McCready honest over at first base. McCready slides back in.
there's that left-handed catcher advantage for you.
Yeah, but also against that, if you had a left-handed first base, you get the tag easier then because it's right there where the ball's caught. That's why left-handers make really good first base players, in my opinion.
Robin trying to keep her honest again. Just a little check. You can feel it's an important out here for Queensland, just trying to halt a little bit of a pushback here from ACT, trying to stop something from generating. But it's a walk, so it's 2 runners on, and the dangerous Sarah Ryu comes up to bat from Western Australia.
Yeah, so this is the danger. That's why that at-bat was important, because at 1 out, I mean, arguably ACT's 2 probably best contact hitters at the moment. Yeah, this is their opportunity to get back into the game, or at least try and build on some momentum here, which they're starting to get.
Yeah, well, you can't pass her up here, Sarah, because you've got Claire Warwick coming next.
Well, no,
the
like
bases loaded.
Victoria passed up on Belle White last night, and that didn't play out too well when Maddie Cameron batted the next 3
Yeah,
innings.
it's you just got to know the players, don't you? Really,
Yeah.
You've got to know them.
At this level, though, I think the pass-up methodology is a lot more difficult.
Yeah, of course, because there's more batters, more hitters, big hitters, extra base hitters.
At this level, you're right, as Rio comes up. I'm not too sure I'm a fan of that pass up, only because it's just another run on the board. Every time we've seen a pass up, all of those runs have ended up scoring from first anyway. So if you leave the bat in their hands, they score, but it's 1 less run that they've scored.
Yeah, the condition would obviously be around your pitching and trying to develop something like a ground out. Got a big piece of that.
Yeah, just running this down is Rhiannon Kemp. That was smashed.
It's going really deep in foul territory, right to the gate at the end of right field.
But to your point before, at this level, even the number 8, 9, 7 hitters in any of these lineups are in the middle of the lineup at most of these club ball teams back in their home state.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's knowing the players.
And all of them are good here. That's why the Australian selectors are out here watching players like Sarah Ryu. This ball slips away. Double play ball going to be taken away now.
Taking the pressure off Sarah here.
Yeah, so that's Zunker's fastest pitch of the game so far. That's the first time she's broken 92, and she's gone all the way up to 95. just lost a little bit of control on the outside.
Well, she's quite aware of what sort of batter Sarah is, and then she knows Claire's coming next. So
there's a look at the Australian selectors, by the way.
Yeah, going to pitch very carefully to these two batters. Otherwise, it's going to be costly.
Neville would be absolutely excited about the fact that you've just reflected to him as an Australian selector.
Neville is keeping a close eye on the Australian. He's umpiring the Australian selectors.
Too late, Eric.
Sarah Ryu
that's in.
gaps one, and she's going to score a run. It's hooked around. ACT pushing for 2. They're going to score 2. It's an RBI single for Sarah Ryu, and the ACT have cut the lead in half. It's 4-2.
What a great shot.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Just went with it. Didn't overextend. Yeah, just...
And the ball getting away prior to that, is pitched from the catcher, just took the pressure off Sarah then because the bases are clear.
Yeah, the pitch away before that she lost control of was 95. That one there, 91, again on that same spot, but brought it back into a hittable space. And Ryo's just gone with it beautifully and scored 2 runs. And
things can happen when you pitch very carefully, as you know, Weathers. You know, sometimes you can be too careful.
And at 1 out, Claire Warwick comes to the plate. So ACT starting to find their feet, build some momentum. So the challenge now for Queensland is to, after an impressive start and a little bit of levelling off, that they need to get Warwick to ground out into a double here and try and get back in there.
She's already made some impressive plays in the field, Claire Warwick.
Yeah, it depends what happens here with Claire, but putting Sarah on that innings instead of letting her hit would have saved 2 runs at this stage.
Or it would have cost them an extra one, because if Claire Warwick has a hit here, then
Yeah. Warwick's looked likely every time she's been at the plate for the first 2 days. She got beaten on a pitch on the up in her first at-bat and flew out on the left side. And then you've got Alexis Cooper on deck, who's... When there's runners been on, she's been advancing runners with shots up the middle and down the left side.
She smashed doubles to the wall.
Yeah.
And that hits Claire Warwick, and Warwick...
That would have smarted.
87 in the middle, 87 Ks in the middle of the back. Not how you want to start a Sunday morning.
That would just knock the wind out of you even a little bit too.
Yeah.
I think that's what she's feeling.
Just under that left shoulder blade by the look of it. Yeah. Don't need to see that too many more times.
Good look at the Eastern replay.
But she's all right. She's at first and she's talking to the coach there. So,
quick update from the backfield, top of the 4th. This is an update from James Harris. New South Wales reverting to traditional softball. Taylor Titsacronis walk. Safe hit or safe bunt from Stacey McManus. Then Tolly Moore had another safe bunt right to the pitcher, and the throw went all the way to Dead Man's Alley in the right field corner. We've seen that before at this field. And all 3 runs scored, just like yesterday versus the ACT, and all of a sudden it's 4-0 in the top of the 4th, New South Wales over Victoria. Thank you very much to James Harris for the update. Big moment in this ball game.
Yeah, 1 out.
2 runners on.
Yeah, runners at 1 and 2. Cooper at the plate, who's been doing some good contact hitting.
Swings at the first pitch. This one high. This one is going to drop in right behind us in foul territory.
So Zunka probably getting this is her first real challenge that she's had so far. She's been super impressive in these first couple of innings, but now really having to work hard.
See, I wouldn't be going for the first pitch. You've got 2 runners on, and the pitch is under pressure at this very moment.
Yeah.
I'd be putting more pressure back on.
Ball hit hard up in the air. It's an awkward one, but moving under to make the play is Charisma Burton, fighting the sun away a little bit, and
that's a great catch.
Yep.
Running in on that. So just some bullpen activity for Queensland too. Lauren Coulter, who got the start against New South Wales, just starting to go through her warm-up routines.
So Michaela Tui comes back for her second at-bat of the game. new to the program in ACT. Kind of worked her way up the grade system in the local competitions there. Now she has 2 runners on versus Queensland. There's a look at Coulter warming up. Down the right field line in the bullpens here. It's been a long half innings, and the ACT Diamonds have made him pay. And now Tui, big shot, left field. This one's going back to the wall. It's going to drop it against the fence. It's scored run. It's going to try to score 2. And ACT have squared this game up at 4. It's a double from Michaela Tui.
What a great shot. Clutch shot, wasn't it?
What a game. Worthy of a final there, gold standard.
Unbelievable. What a fight back from ACT. They were down 4-0 and then weathered some pressure. Big defensive plays, and Michaela Tui got all of it.
Yeah, great piece of the ball. 2 out base running just gives them that freedom to just go hard for it. But yeah, Tui was super aggressive in that at bat after getting played out in the first. So
gee, that's a good pitch, isn't it?
yeah, Zunka's gone straight back to what worked.
Yeah. That's what you do, don't you, when you're pitching?
Yeah, but the thing that we've been finding is when you just miss at this level, you pay for it. I mean, Titsakonis did it yesterday to the Porter from the ACT in the ACT New South Wales game.
Yep.
Just she threw one bad pitch in the at-bat, and Titsakonis put her over left centre field.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
Really, yeah. But when you get behind, you go to your pitch, the pitch that's working.
Yeah.
You know, on the day, in that game, actually.
Well, she bounces back with a strikeout there, so it's Zunker's 4th of the day, but 8 batters come to the plate. A big 2 RBI double from Michaela Tui. Sarah Ryu drove in 2 runs. Opportunistic ACT have stormed back to tie it at 4 with 4 in the 3rd.
Yeah, and you can just watching Porter come out to the middle now, you can just see there's a jump in her step. She realises that she's got an offence that's rallying around behind her. So I'd be super excited to see how Queensland answer the momentum shift that the ACT are trying to pick up here. And
Lauren Parker in the circle, catching, and that was a momentum changer, putting Alexis Cooper in at catcher, wasn't it?
That's changed everything. Yeah, I mean, Porter's... yeah, definitely. I mean, look, Queensland, obviously that intent in that first 10 minutes of the game was to do what New South Wales did to them yesterday. First pitch of the game from Coulter yesterday against New South. Cox has got on with a triple. The very next pitch, Curvers has hit a running bunt to second base. She's got on first. Cox has scored. The game's 2 pitches old and they're down 1-0. Yeah. So Queensland have come with that same ambush mentality here. They've attacked. They've got runs early. Whitefield gets on at the start of the game and they go on with it. But ACT, to the credit, we're in the, here we go, top 4. And as we go into that, you know, now Queensland are trying to wrest the momentum from a game 20 minutes ago. They were leading 4-0.
Well, just like ACT did versus New South Wales, they had a bit of a fight back. And don't forget how huge this game is. Both teams are 0-2. Both teams sitting 4-5 on the ladder. Only the top 4 make it for a chance to play in the finals. So this is a huge game when it reverts back. I know runs against are the big tiebreaker, but if it does go to head-to-head, this is a huge game.
Well, you look at Victoria's 2 games yesterday. I mean, they have a 9-1 win against the ACT and then get beat in 14-1 by SA an hour and a half later. So, I mean, that's 22-run turnaround. So, I mean, it's SA and New South Wales, both 2 wins at least yesterday, New South with the 3. So, yeah, look, this tournament's alive and, you know, we're not even halfway through it.
Harari Kurihara standing in. She had a hit and later scored back in the first inning, but ever since Harari Kurihara had that hit, it's been very effective. Just 1 hit allowed in the next 8 batters for Lauren Parker in the circle for the ACT, and we're back to where we started with a tie ball game. It's been an entertaining one.
Yeah, every game's been entertaining so far. They've all had their moments for sure. Yesterday was just a great bar setter from just a level.
That doinks off the helmet of the catcher, Lexi Cooper, behind home plate. Kurahara tries that running hit. Cooper, that ball is always going out, but she's still hunting them down.
You love that about your catcher, don't you? Catchers, you know, get up, they're down the squat position, they get up on and they run and they go hard at it.
ACT starting to get some momentum, some work in their bullpen as Melanie Thornburn, who was the primary starter for them yesterday, throwing 123 pitches over 2 games. Great pitch by Porter there to remove the Queensland lead off. That's a positive start. So 1 out, bringing Sinavasiva to the plate, the young 16-year-old, playing first base.
Still a good pitch, that one, even though it was a ball.
Yeah.
It stands to reason. If you're that size that Tallulah is, then you throw inside and low because you can't get down to it.
Well, the thing to be careful though is that if you throw inside and middle, that was the ball that she hit for a triple last night.
Yeah.
She's got a.
But inside and low, you know, as soon as you see somebody tall comes in, you throw inside and low, you can't get down to it. Conversely, you get somebody short, throw outside and away because they can't reach it. That's the theory.
Yeah.
Lauren Parker is
catching.
picking up some steam. Strikeout number 5.
Yeah, that's a super pitch there. Great drop. Just got her swinging over the top of that. But she's got, you can see, even for a kid her age, she's got super fast hands. That's a couple more years and that's going to develop into something very, very nasty for opposition pitchers.
She's got the power. She's obviously got the power.
Samantha Robbins steps in. Eight of the last 9 batters have been retired. For ACT, they've had good pitching from Lauren Parker. They've had good defense, especially that play from Claire Warwick. That ball going foul. Again, Cooper with a big smile on her face trying to hunt that down. That was always going out of the park.
That's for somebody that's, you know, working so hard, she's smiling all the time. It's like watching Gemma Letton catch. So. Yeah, I mean, Parker would be reasonably fresh. I mean, yesterday, she only threw the 4 innings for 55 pitches, you know, where there are other pitchers in the leagues on their first day who threw, you know, upwards of 115, 120. So.
Swing and a miss. What an inning for Parker. She strikes out the side.
Yeah.
And ACT have all the momentum right now.
Not only did it dropped the pace.
Yeah, that was,
It was an excellent pitch.
Yeah, Alexis Cooper's been super impressive behind the plate for the ACT.
Yep.
Well, ACT, who were behind here as we are now in the middle of the 4th inning.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we might have gone a little bit early there because Robin just checked at the plate. She's only faced 2 pitches, just questioning why she was out after 2.
So we're going to do it all again.
Yeah,
So it wasn't a strikeout. She didn't strike out the side.
You can't strike out after 2 pitches.
We'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. New life here in the top of the 4th.
Could this be important?
Get the wide out ready.
Ball hit in the air towards left field. In foul territory. Oh, it was a difficult one for McCready. She made the play regardless. So now we're done, but she didn't strike out the side. That's okay. I think Parker will be absolutely fine. Just needed 1 more pitch to get her out. So now we enter the middle of the 4th. We're at that halfway point of the game. It's been another entertaining one. 4 runs in the 1st for Queensland, 4 runs in the 3rd for ACT.
They've made the change. So Zunka, who's got him through the first 4, Coulter now comes on in relief.
Well, this outing is a bit less daunting having to go against ACT rather than, Michelle Cox to start your career at this level?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was 4 innings last night for 5 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. So she only threw the 55 pitches. So again, she shouldn't be feeling too many ill effects. So had her moments, but again, it just was, a super aggressive New South Wales just jumped early.
Update from the backfield. Victoria have just made a big double play to get out of a long inning. New South Wales end up scoring 4 in the digs, and they had 2 runners on when that double play came. Cox had a hard line drive to Kari Pritchard at second base for the out and over to shortstop for the double play, but it is New South Wales in the middle of the 4th up 5-zip. So New South Wales playing Victoria, and that's a big update from James Harris in the backfield. They are staring down a 4-0 start, and they've been impressive, New South Wales, so far. But 4 wins, you'd think that would all but clinch a spot in the finals.
Well, Titsakonis was saying yesterday, she's just super proud of her team for the adversity they've gone through in their training preparation, and to have 9 rookies and the players, the quality of the player that they've had go out. Look, you'd expect New South Wales to be good, but 4-0 at the, halfway through the tournament.
Changing of the guard.
Yeah, they'd be pretty happy.
Bree Kimber. She had a really nice play out in right field a couple innings ago. So we'll see what Coulter can do in her second appearance of the tournament. Well, she's taken a few pitches and she's in a favorable spot. The count is 3-0.
Disciplined batting, isn't it? New pitcher comes in, faces you, take as many pitches as you can.
Yeah. Michelle Cox didn't give her the same respect last night. 1 pitch, bang, triple.
Yeah.
Kimber is aboard.
Next batter, I'll be doing the same thing for a couple of 3 pitches.
Well, Sam McCready had that cracking shot to left in her first at-bat.
Yeah, well, she still get a chance, but you see what I mean? The pitcher has not thrown a strike yet since she's been out there. Wait till she throws a couple.
Yeah. McCready had that hard shot to left last inning, so...
Well, she got on board, and then the rest happened. They scored 4, and then she's going to lay down and play some small ball. Bit of confusion as to who wants it. They're still going to make the play. A tricky one. Dorinda Stone ends up taking it regardless, but they've advanced the runner, and now they'll get 2 cracks at it. Lauren Pardo and then Brooke Spence will have a chance to drive in a go-ahead run.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Carroll will be happy with that. I mean, that's what he's asked for, and he's got what he wanted. So now they've got to make the most of these 2 opportunities against a new pitcher.
And they probably worked on the theory that she's thrown 4 balls. Next one, she's going to try and throw a strike and get started, and that was the one to bunt. It was a similar pitch to that. It was just sitting there.
Didn't have the gun on Coulter last night over on Diamond 2, but it is obviously similar body type. Obviously Coulter's a bit older, a bit taller. I mean, she's 26, but she is throwing the ball around about 5 to 7 k's an hour faster. Yeah. So she is forcing the ACT hitters to catch up off the starter from Zulko.
And she's stronger. She's obviously stronger. But that'll come with the young girl, Chelsea. It just takes time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot to like about her early stuff, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh. That's gone right back at Coulter, and that is an oh no moment. Game will pause for this.
Just probably don't want to see the replay of that.
No, we got to get first aid out there.
Yeah. no, glove. It hit her.
It hit her glove and then her face?
No, it hit her and then the glove.
Flash.
Like the glove sort of came after.
It just came flush.
Oh,
gee, that was motoring, wasn't it?
Wow, that was. Did you see the catch over at third base? Is that out? If it deflects off a player and it's caught at third, is the player out?
Did not even see that, man.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
It deflected off the player and over to third. So is the runner out? Yeah. Through all of that, we've completely missed what happened. So Dorinda Stone actually makes the out off of that deflection.
I think that's what the Queensland coach has just gone over and asked the first base umpire.
But if that's happened, then they just need to throw the ball to first base and they have the tag out and the runner's a double play.
And the side away.
Sorry, I'm watching the pitch. I'm trying to make sure I'm worried she's all right. That's. I always thought
that would be a shock to the system.
I always thought the craziest place to play was third base, but being married to a pitcher for 20 plus years, that's your nightmare watching that.
I mean, you're at risk of it every time you throw a ball, aren't you? But it's good to see her. She's smiling. That's awesome to see.
Well, her teammates around her are laughing a little bit, so hopefully that's a positive sign. But I mean, that was 94k an hour.
Right back at you.
That was what she threw. So you can only imagine what that would have come off the bat at. So,
well, Miss Coulter, we are very relieved that this is not as bad as it could have been. That's got to be a shock to the system.
I've got my daughter's face mask in the car. I can go get that. So, but
yeah, that's.
Yeah, I would definitely be.
And she's smiling coming off the field. That's a great sign to see.
I think she's frustrated about the fact that she only got to throw one.
Well, is it a double play? That's my actual question.
Now the Queensland.
Now the Queensland asks, because on the replay, here's the replay of it. And this makes it a lot easier to watch knowing that she's walking off okay. There's the out, it's caught. So if they throw the ball to second, double play. I don't know if they got there in time, but. The question is, I think what the umpires are talking about is it a double play?
So it looks like. So Emily Solomon, who came in last night in relief for Coulter.
Let's see what the umpire call is, sorry. Or are they just doing the changes? So you're right, Emily Solomon coming in. Safe at second. That's what the umpire calls. So it is a catch, which they got right on the call out. Through all that, I completely missed that when that was happening too. And my goodness. So Emily Sullivan, you liked what you saw from her last night?
Yeah,
though.
no, she came in and she did a really good job. As I said, you know, New South Wales up and about, super aggressive after the Coulter start, and she did a good job. You know, again, young pitcher, only 17 years old. That's the thing that's sort of hard to put into context, and she's obviously making her, you know, Queensland Heat debut. So she's also played in the under-18s. So great CV. Pitches for Red Sox in the Brisbane Association. So, but again, like some of the other players, been a part of the under-16 winning team, part of the under-18 winning team for Queensland. Again, didn't have her on the gun last night, so I don't know the pacing, but she seemed to have good control.
Long throw over to left, some aggressive base running, trying to slide in there.
So I was wondering when the first opportunity was going to present itself. with the left-handed catcher, right-handed hitter, runner at 2 when the steal was going to happen, and it lasted all of a pitch, and they did it straight away.
So Bree Kimber is standing over at third. By the way, Bree Kimber is doing an Instagram takeover on the Softball Australia Instagram page. Go check that out. She's obviously not updating right now because she represents the go-ahead run, standing over at third. Solomon has this pitch just dip away. Brooke Spence up to bat. It's a key out because Sarah Rio is 2 for 2 and has seen the ball really, really well and standing on deck. Huge moment in the game for Queensland.
So Solomon's thrown around the 90, so a little bit slower than Coulter, but sort of similar to the pace that Zunker had, which the ACT had adapted after a few innings. So,
and it's a walk.
But the drop ball had a bit more zip on it, so.
Her second base on balls, Brooke.
So the experience of Robin just coming in there and just sort of having a chat to the young pitcher who, again, you know, as we say, only 17, coming into a difficult situation where she's thrown against ACT's 2 hot hitters in a game where it's 4 all, 2 out, and a runner at first. So
ACT were down 4-0 in this game. They don't have much quit about them. Did a similar thing in their first game versus New South in game 1. Ball along the ground. Does it stay fair? It does. They'll touch the bag and they'll make the play for the out. So
interesting hit and run on the first pitch.
Yeah, maybe a touch aggressive for a new pitcher. Maybe would have made the sweat a little bit more and have to work a bit harder. But especially when you've got your 2 best hitters in the zone. But Queensland coach Jenkins just bringing the team together here and
try to resettle them almost.
Yeah, just trying to see if Coulter's there. Might just try and see if I can grab an update, see if she's okay.
Yeah, go do that. That'd be awesome. On the back diamond, Bree Evans comes in for a pinch hit single. Stacey McManus scores. New South Wales now up 7-0. They need 3 outs for the run rule victory. And yes, in the comments, we will be referencing the games on the back diamond on every stream, not just when New South Wales is playing. We've only had streams so far on the main diamond, and New South Wales just happened to be the team playing on the back diamond. We did it for game number 1 when New South was playing on this diamond. We have a reporter sitting back there giving us play-by-play. You can follow the games on iScore, but the reporters we find just give us a little bit more of an edge and a flow of what's going on in the game. So a big shout out to James Harris for doing that for us. So you can tune into this game and get all the action of the 2 games simultaneously happening at once. The next game up on deck is ACT versus South Australia on the main diamond. That stream will be happening here, and the games that will be going on in Diamond 2 will be getting the same updates of what's going on, whether New South Wales is playing or not. So hope that clears up what's going on. And also when a team is 4-0, on the staring down the barrel 4-0, we're going to talk about them. Brianna Kemp steps in, big swing, and that one goes foul. Anthony Weatherspoon coming back in the booth. I hope we have an update on how Coulter is going for all the anxious people waiting back home. Weathers, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so she's okay. She's sitting on the bench with probably one of the largest ice packs I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, she's smiling and her teammates are in and around her. So just to mum and dad out there, she's okay.
That is awesome to hear. That is a relief to hear. It's one of those heart-sinking moments when it comes right back at. Ball just slips away. Kemp gets herself on a 1-2 count. Now we're into the final 3 innings of a tie game, of a game that both teams really do want to win. Ball down low. This will be the third different pitcher that Queensland have had to use today on a day that they have a triple-header game coming up.
That was a good pitch.
The advantage to having 2 games on your first day to settle into a tournament. Soon the reality bites on day 2 when you get 3. So, but you know, all of them yesterday didn't overextend as far as their pitch counts go. Only Sandy Holden went over the 100 mark in her game in the shootout with the other veteran, Jade Peterson from SA, so where she threw 106 pitches for the day. So you would think that they would be picking their mark when they're going to throw their ace in that regard.
Full count to Kemp. She was behind 0-2. What a job from Reed Kemp to work herself back in this situation. Swing and a miss. Parker gets her chasing to drop third strike. Either way, that will be strikeout number 6.
And it was a very low strike, wasn't it? The low pitch.
Well, since
Had a go at it.
Since the 4th run for Queensland touched the plate in the first inning, 11 of 12 retired from Lauren Parker and ACT. They have had some help from defense, but that's a great response.
Yeah, for sure.
Back to the top of the lineup, 3rd time through. This is when things get a little bit spicy. Tamika Whitefield, she's got 2 hits, and she's been so aggressive on the base paths. I really like watching Tamika Whitefield play. Whoa, she's got some pace about it. That one fouled back. By about lunchtime today, all teams will have played each other once. We're into this tournament quickly. Victoria just have to play Queensland after this game. SA just have to play ACT, and New South Wales are just finishing their 4th game. So it happens quick. 48 hours ago, we hadn't played an open Gillies Shield in 2.5 years, and now everybody's played each other once.
And the games where the teams had to do everything on a quick turnaround, they all struggled in their second game. So,
well, that was interesting then, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say.
The catcher was really excited about the call, and the batter wasn't. And only one of them wins.
I was about to say, I've heard of framing pitches and trying to sell a pitch, but that was, Cooper gave it everything she had there.
Swing and a miss. She doesn't have to sell that one.
But at that time.
She struck out 4 of the last 5 batters in 5 of the last 7, Lauren Parker.
Yeah, I said.
And thought she struck out Samantha Robin.
Yeah, I think I said maybe just a little while ago that after those runs were scored by the ACT, you could just tell when Porter came to the plate, it's the first time that there was some genuine confidence about, hey, look, you know, the offense has got me here. Now it's my turn to keep this thing up and about. And since then, she's lit them up. So,
well, also a couple of nice defensive plays. He had Bree Kimber lay out in right field and Claire Warwick make that play at shortstop. So I'm sure that is a picture for Lauren Parker. She's saying, oh, boy, that's good. Now I think
that was a
Lexi Cooper got clipped.
It was a bare hand.
Yeah.
She's left-handed throw.
So there's your answer.
Yeah. And I love the fact, too, that she's asked the hitter, is she all right?
She's funny.
Oh, yeah, she's hilarious.
She's a character for sure.
Well, that's what their coaching staff, the Coach Carroll was saying before the tournament, that when things are going wrong, as inevitably something will in a tournament, this is a player that you want in your dugout because she just breaks that tension. She's always having fun no matter what and reminds you why you play the game. She just asks, was it a ball or a strike? Oh, the umpire said ball, and she just threw her head back.
Foul tip was called.
Foul tip, sorry.
Swing and a miss. It's another strikeout. This time she strikes out the side. Lauren Parker. Wow.
ACT coming hard here. Game on.
10 in a row for Lauren Parker in the ACT defense with 6 strikeouts in that mix. This is impressive. It's 10 in a row and 12 of their last 13.
Yeah, as you've been
13 of the last 14, sorry.
As you've said, Eric, this can't underestimate how important this game is. Like Victoria, New South Wales were just a couple of outs from closing that down to a 7-0 win. So Victoria's going to have the one win after 3 games. So both of these teams, this game can't be underestimated how important it is. And to be at this stage, bottom 5, 4 all, yeah, wow.
She's thrown a lot of beautiful drops, hasn't she, Laura? It's been fantastic.
Yeah, and, you know, this...
Well, Weathers, I mean, a great opportunity to take this moment to talk about where you can get involved playing softball. You've got daughters, you got a couple daughters that play?
Just the
one daughter that plays. How did she find where to find the club? And if she couldn't find one because of family connection, where would she go?
Oh, that's... we didn't... I must confess, we didn't use the website. Mum and Dad sort of sorted that out for her, but we're
But you could have.
We're a bit more entrenched, but we know how you would have done it. So, look, I mean, the sport definitely needs, you know, to encourage more junior participation, and she had a ball in her first season, so... Yeah, encourage all those young kids to get out there. Great T-ball programs, great coaching at the junior levels, great opportunity. And if you look 4 or 5 years down the track at some of the age groups of some of the pitches, we've got a 17-year-old Emily Solomon out here at the moment throwing in an open women's national against an Olympian in Claire Warwick. It can be your kid.
Well, going from softball to softball.org.au, it's also helpful even for your daughter. If her friends or her friends' parents, she's over at someone's house, say, hey, you play softball, how do I find where to go? She can just say, hey, there's a website for that, softball.org.au, and type your type code in.
Wow.
Claire Warwick, big shot, left field, foul.
One bounce. And the thing to remember too, that's boys as well. So, you know, obviously the men's programs, etc. So, yeah, by all means, get on there, and you'll be surprised when you actually type it in, see how many clubs there are around you.
So comment in the comment section where you're watching it for. At the end of the 5th inning, we'll give you a bit of a shout out from where that is. And thanks for watching and joining us.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Eric, when I was doing some of the research this week leading up, I used that website to find out about some of the teams. So
Warwick puts this in play. A weird hop and a quick play. She's safe. Mo Kurahara had a big effort there to try to bring that in. Nothing she did wrong, but that was a great effort of Claire Warwick running down the line.
Well, the coach has just patted her on the left back shoulder there, saying well done. So obviously an 85k now ball in the back of the shoulder hasn't hurt her, and she's up and about. But yeah, what a hop. So
yeah, the second base, Karahara, she plays very deep.
Alexis Cooper up to bat.
Obviously because she respects the strength of the batters like Warwick.
yeah, so none out here. So huge opportunity for the ACT.
ACT were down 4-0. A couple defensive plays turned the course of the game around and allowed them to score 4 in the 3rd. It was an RBI double from Michaela Tui, who did not start this game but had in her second at bat a big crack in RBI double, and Sarah Ryu, who's got 2 hits and 2 RBIs to tie it at 4. And now for the 2nd inning in a row, a leadoff base runner. 3rd inning in a row actually, but 2nd one where they've had the lead, or tried to take the lead, sorry. Ball into play, and this one just skips through the infield. It's back-to-back hits. Alexis Cooper going towards right field, so 2 runners on and nobody out. Michaela Tui, last time she had 2 runners on, she drove one to the wall.
So 178 centimetres. Cooper started that first opportunity with the bunt, just got underneath it, ball popped up, but she was lucky enough to get a second opportunity. So her way of advancing the runner, nice little right field single to put Warwick on second.
They've got to go with this hitter, don't they? Because 2 people on, this girl can hit Tui. Will they just rest with her being the judge, or will they go hit and run?
I've said
Get
it.
her head in the front.
No, I've said it before. Runners at 1 and 2, none out. I bunt every time, but
Okay.
the last time I said that, Maddie Cameron hit it 245 feet over left field. So
It is an interesting debate. Do you bunt and try to play some small ball and just try to go ahead by 1? But
in this particular situation, even with the hitter at the plate at 1 out, runners 2-3, 17-year-old young pitcher who's just had to come in under duress, that's what I'd be doing.
Lays down the bunt, playing the percentages, and now you have 2 cracks at it to get a fly ball, or now add pressure, a pass ball, scores a run, so the percentage play.
Yeah, so look, ACT yesterday, they did this type of thing where they had the opportunity where they were able to engineer the game to the way that they wanted it to play. They had their pieces in place and they just couldn't execute. Here's another great opportunity for them to be able to do that.
Tess Henman, 0 for 2 on the day, but she is an athlete. A ball in play puts pressure on her, getting even to first base. It's not a force out at any bag. It's another consideration late is do you just, I know she's 0 for 2, but if it was the top of the lineup, do you try to load them up and get that force out? We've seen teams get out of that jam already in that tournament. Hit to right field. Will this drop it? It does, and it's going to rattle up against the wall. It's scored 2 runs, and Tess Henman is flying towards third. She's going to get held up there. It's a 2 RBI triple from Tess Henman.
What a great shot.
Opposite field, and it's 6-4 ACT. Look at this Easton replay. She was in easily to third.
We said, we just talked about the fact that ACT had, we're just looking back at a, so ACT, we talked about the fact that they engineered the situation that they wanted to engineer. They had their opportunity, and bang, Tess Hedman takes it, puts them 6-4 up, and here we go. Ooh.
Squeeze it was.
Squeeze play. Well, and you know what? That I heard this before the tournament that if Tess Hedman was on third, they would consider doing a squeeze because she's so athletic and so quick. I love a call like this where you can lay down a bunt, play some small ball. Now they're looking for insurance runs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 1 out, game on.
Will Bree Kimber go for the squeeze again? Bunts it straight up in the air. So with 2 strikes, I'd be ambitious to try the squeeze again. Bree Kimber, once again, she's taken over on Instagram, by the way. Got to check that out on the Softball Australia Instagram feed.
Coach Carroll there, you can see, just telling the hitter just to calm down, just get a good pitch and put the ball into play.
Just outside.
Just needs to make it land for a run, doesn't she?
1 ball and 2 strikes on Kimber.
Well, second base and shortstop both inside the line.
Ball up in the air. It's in foul territory. Tallulah Sivanasiva having a look. That one just drips away foul. ACT have poured it on. Down 4-0. Great defense. Now up 6-4. Change the C in capital to chaos. This is the Australian chaos territory.
Yeah. There's definitely a change in the atmosphere. That's really good batting.
Clutch hits from Rio, Tui, and Henman, each with a hit that had 2 RBIs driven in. Right place, right time, right shot. Still a long way to go in this, though. From 0-2 to full.
This is a really good turn at bat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Couldn't squeeze her in twice, but kept the ball away from the catcher. That was the main thing.
Kimber, right field, doesn't stay fair, it won't. Kimber, one of those momentum turning plays in right field, a great diving play she made.
Just great hand speed by these ACT hitters, but also just going with the pitch. So often you see an outside pitch, so many hitters just go, throw their hands, lock up at the back part of the swing, and then get caught trying to drag it over to left field for nothing. But these girls are going with the ball and just opening up the diamond.
In the air, it's in that weird gap, moving over to make the play. Charisma Burton drives in and catches it. It was a nice play, but a run will score easily. That's really all they needed to do, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they tried a couple of sacrifices, squeezes, and that didn't work. So a sacrifice fly will be just as good. So Coach Carroll will be happy with that outcome there. And 7-4. This game's been changed, turned on its head.
Fourth different player with a ribby today. Ball put into play. It'll be easily made by Mo Kurihara, but this game has turned quickly. It is a 7-4 ACT lead, and we have played 5 innings. My goodness, what a completely different change from that first inning in the way that this game was feeling like it was going.
That's a great catch in the outfield there for Queensland. Just going away from her as Kemp got over towards that. So, look, Coop, the Parker for ACT has been on top these last couple of innings. Now we're heading into top 6, so ACT would be looking at the finish line, 6 outs needed to, get themselves on the board, pick up an important win and put themselves into contention in this tournament.
And don't you love that? You're pitching so well, you've got them back into the game, and now you've got that added bonus of 2 more runs.
Well, big shout out to all those clubs around there. Don't forget you can go to the club finder on softball.org.au. How about the Eastern Lightning Softball Club in Hobart, Tasmania? Tuning in, love to hear that. Renee watching from the Ingle Farms Falcons. There's some great teams out in the CDSA, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure.
There's some good talent that comes there. We've seen a few come through that program. Vicky Burgess watching from Toowoomba Softball Association. Folks from the ACT. And, of course, the Nairn Angels.
Yeah. So Queensland here, top 6. It's their captain, Erin West, that's going to lead them off. And she's going to need to try and get them a base runner at the very least and try and get Queensland back into this game because they're running out of time fast.
Lauren Parker staying in the circle. This is the 3rd time through for the ACT that they will be facing these Queensland hitters.
That's the one, isn't it?
Lexi Cooper again, just so active. And oh, man. We need to have like a fan vote on some of these polls because we're having these games streamed. We're seeing these characters. I want to have like a character of the tournament that fans can vote on.
Yeah, we need somebody to interview it. That's what we need. Need somebody to have a chat. Because she seems like she's having an awful lot of fun out there, which is great.
Well, when you watch people have fun, that's awesome. Also, big shout out to people watching from WA after someone's been playing in the WA Masters all week. Game just awesome for the community. You love to hear it. New South Wales, I believe, have won in the back diamond. Is that the correct update? Is that over? West, up in the air. This one might be playable. It just dips over the fence.
Maybe playable if you're on the top of an 8-foot ladder.
Yeah, you need a scaffold, climb on up there, leap over the fence, dive over, make the play. Simple.
Men's a few years ago, Weathers, you would have remembered this. A fellow playing, he climbed up the wire on that other time in there. What was it? I can't think of his name now, but
there was a guy I remember who actually ran through one of the fences.
Yeah.
The gate fences. Great
swing
pitch.
And a miss. 9 strikeouts from Lauren Parker. This is unbelievable. She has struck out 7 of the 9 batters in this game.
Yeah, and Queensland at the moment are in their lineup as in 3, 4, 5. They are in the heart.
In the guns. Yep.
Ball put into play. Claire Warwick has to double clutch and somehow still makes the play. So if they're not missing, they're putting it into play, and Claire Warwick has made a couple nice ones out there at short.
Yeah, that's super impressive. Just the way she kept her balance on that ball off the hop. Made sure of it. Made sure of her footing before.
Brings up Dorinda Stone.
Already had a good shot in this game.
Lauren Parker has announced herself in Australia in this game.
Oh, wow.
Queensland needs to get back on base, right? Like, that's where they do their damage with that speed and the pressure points they have.
Yeah.
You're looking at confidence now.
Yeah, you can definitely feel there's been a huge change.
It was a nervy start for ACT, a few errors costing them some runs early. Ball put back into play. This will be a tricky one. Great diving stop. Can they make the play? Safe. What an effort from Brooke Spence, though. Dorinda Stone, credit to her hustling down the line.
Yeah, Spence had to go a long way to get that ball and just couldn't stop her own momentum. As you see, she sort of obviously goes with the ball, gets down to it, and then just the pick up.
Yeah. Would have been a tough play.
Yeah. Risky to try and do the underhand too, off your knees in that regard.
Harari Kurahara back up to bat, coming from the left side. Well,
yeah, so 16 people faced by the Pizzalora since the innings number 1, where Queensland got the 4, and 2 people have got on of those 16. 1 by an error and 1 by that hit the second base.
And the only change between that was the catcher.
Alexis Cooper
came in and just has changed.
Hasn't looked back.
She's changed the game on its head.
How many earned runs in the first inning was it? We can check
4.
what the score is.
I think there's 4.
Was it all 4 earned?
3. 3 we
3 earned runs. Lindy Radigan telling us. Jill Williams
overruled
telling
them,
us.
I think.
Giving us the thumbs up from down the bench. The scores. You can see him kind of on the corner of your screen.
Down to the left of us.
Kurahara swings through that one.
97 Ks an hour.
She's going long ball there.
In the 6th innings, Parker up and about in a big way. Getting some great dip on that ball too. That starting waist height and breaking on the knees, just
Ball back up the middle, and that one finds a gap. So the tying run now will come to the plate for the ACT. So just when Queensland rather, but just when ACT was giving Queensland nothing, now back-to-back hits. A big hitter in Tallulah Sivanasiva coming to the plate. She represents the tying run, and out of nowhere, Queensland now applying some pressure again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just surprised, like, if there's an injury or something, but why Queensland maybe.
No Janice Blackman.
No Janice Blackman. Like, I mean, this Sivanasiva last night, she hits the triple that gets Queensland back into it. So definitely, give the kid the opportunity, but.
Yeah, she had a great shot last night.
Yeah, but at 7-4 at 2 out in a big game.
Team Australia player.
It's a lot to ask of a 16-year-old.
But young players have been answering the call for multiple teams, and Sivanasiva's been one of them.
She was good enough last night, but Porter at the moment is
Parker
at the moment, sorry, for ACT is on fire.
Yeah, and those 2 hits weren't crazy hard. She hasn't allowed much hard contact all game long. Even in the first inning, they were all infield hits, and they were all a couple errors that just moved players around.
Yeah, as Lee was saying, they got Sivanasiva the last at bat low and in. So
like that. Yeah, like that. There wasn't.
Sivanasiva seems to be looking for a ball on the up.
Yeah.
So
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, but 2 potential runs on the bases.
Big pitch.
Huge pitch, huge moment.
Throw, drop.
km/h change on the outside. Yeah. Good mix. Worth asking the question, but Sivanasiva good enough to stay off of it and be disciplined now. Goes to a full count.
I'd still go drop.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 10, and that one was the biggest one to date for Lauren Parker.
Wow.
The Kiwi coming up huge today.
Yeah. That's a big at-bat. So Queensland, they need to make sure that ACT don't put anything more on the insurance side of things. So.
Well, Emily Solomon staying in the game. This is a difficult part of the ACT lineup. Lauren Pardo, who had that ball up the middle last time, but then Brooke Spence, Sarah Rio, and Claire Warwick up to bat after that. So the first out in particular for Queensland, very important here.
Yeah, for sure. just noticed Blackman just came out and took the ball from the field, and she's helmet on and looks ready, so that she might be coming into the game in the 7th. So, but yeah, Elemi Solomon, you know, she's coming under heavy duress, and she's doing a pretty good job. She needs to shut ACT down here.
Gets the first pitch strike. Did see the debut of Chelsea Zunker, who was really, really solid in this game. She pitched 3 innings. Her first 2 in particular were very impressive. Queensland were up 4-0 in the first, and then in the 3rd inning, it was hits to Sam McCready, Sarah Ryu, and then that big double from Michaela Tui that scored some runs. In the 4th inning, that's what tied it up, sorry, and then in the 5th inning, 3 runs after the game. Hard hit ball over towards 3rd. That's a nice play. Dorinda Stone, I'll tell you what, she's been really good at 3rd today.
So reliable.
Back to the top of the lineup, Brooke Spence. Spence grounded over towards short. It was a nice play from Kurihara to recover. Those are 2 difficult plays in the field. Queensland have certainly answered the question there.
Yeah, that's great fielding. Just those soft patches that the ground crew have done a great job, you know, firming up for the game. But she stayed low, ball's gone over, and made a really good play.
And it just dies on you too, doesn't it?
Sarah Ryu had that RBI knock back in the 3rd inning.
This girl's got power, hasn't she, Ryu? My goodness.
Yeah. I mean, she grounded out to the first base person on her last at bat, but has been part of that 2-part punch for the ACT.
She's going to lay a bunch. She's going to try to use her pressure and speed to get there. And I'll tell you what, Queensland defense needed to be good, and they certainly were, and they keep them in this ball game.
So here we go. So Queensland now in the 7th. Need 3 runs to keep this thing going, or 4 to make ACT do something with it.
Was there for the taking. Weathers, isn't it?
Yeah. So Parker, super impressive. I mean, obviously when we got the scout report on her in regards to, you know, the the New Zealand background.
Yeah.
And, you know, yesterday, first game, national championships, she's got New South Wales. Probably didn't see the best of her in that game, but today she has just been, after that first innings, so impressive. So Queensland have gone to their bench, and Australian squad member Janice Blackman is going to be leading off for them. So thank you for your feedback in the comments. Just to, again, just keep telling us where you're watching from, and just getting the word out. And thank you for watching this exciting game that we've got coming to a conclusion here. ACT 7, Queensland 4, top 7. Janice Blackman, the pinch batter, coming in to lead us off.
Yeah, you called it. Blackman, a very talented player. She went away with that group that went with the Aussie Spirit to Tokyo, nearly made that squad. She's an Aussie Spirit representative and player. National selectors are here. If they can get a base runner on between Blackman and Kemp and turn it over to Whitefield, Burton, and West, it's game on.
Well, looks like there's another change coming on deck. McLeod.
Maddie McLeod. Yep, you're right. So Queensland trying to push some buttons to try to get themselves back in position to win this game. They're chasing 3 runs with 3 outs on the board. Janice Blackman up to bat. One of the commentators, she called a couple games last year for us on the NITV broadcast in South Australia.
Yeah, right, nice.
That was great to have Janice Blackman fly in for that.
And we've got SA Hall of Famer Mel McGee on the commentary for the next game this afternoon. So
Chunked foul. Yeah, Weathers and I will be back for that one too. Mel McGee will come on in.
lift the standard, I'm sure. What a great, I mean, just great softball representative, but great South Australian legend.
Blackman, chop foul. Lee, you like that pitch?
Yep.
Cooper is doing everything she possibly can for her pitcher to sell everything as a strike. It is a masterclass in
what you do as a catcher.
Yeah, she's framing, she's talking to the umpire, she's animated, but she's positive, you know. It's hard to say no.
Popped up in foul territory. Sarah Ryu makes the play, 1 down. Lee, I think another one, when you're a coach or working with these players, remember that Lauren Parker's from New Zealand, so they wouldn't have worked too much together, Parker and Cooper. So what does that conversation look like as a coach or as a player when you're having a catcher and pitcher talk for the first, work together for maybe first time?
You need to get together, don't you, really, and just ask questions, you know, chat to each other, get it out in the open. What's your best pitch? What is your go-to pitch? When will I, you know, so I know when to call your go-to pitch. Because the pitcher's got a lot to think, but take no credit away from catchers. Great catchers make very good pitchers.
Such a pivotal at-bat right now with Maddie McLeod coming in for the Queensland Heat. They can get one on, they get the top of the lineup through for a 4th time, and then anything can happen.
It's like when you see here in our competition, Belle White, Olympic player, catches. You know, if you're a young pitcher like Millie Fidger's pitching to you, you're going to get better all the time, and quickly.
Well, she makes her chases 10 strikeouts right now. Lauren Parker looking for 11.
I think the advantage too there is Cooper. I mean, she's 35 years old, so she's got a wealth of experience. She loves working with kids, and so, you know, just that connection that she makes.
Swing and a miss, it's strikeout 11.
But she is getting the best out of this young pitcher.
She's been so impressive, Laura, hasn't she? Just fantastic.
Queensland were up 4-0, and ACT were looking uncomfortable to start this game. Claire Warwick had that great play at shortstop. Bree Kimber, that great play in right field. And then the offense did the damage in the 3rd and the 5th inning. 4 different players with clutch bats, many of times with 2 outs. Whitefield, almost another amazing play. Brooke Spence has been so close so many times.
That was traveling, wasn't it?
That would have been the play of the game.
Yeah, I think she was in the air when she was full extension for that, though.
Tamika Whitefield has 3 hits, by the way. So can Charisma Burton now get on?
No, they've made
pinch hit.
another change as well. So
Road.
All new hitters here in the last. 38, so it's...
Jessica Road coming in, just 19 years old. Also plays on the under-23. She was on that ill-fated under-18 team that never quite made it over. Plays for Tigers softball in Ipswich. So a big moment for her. If she can get on base, then you have the captain, Aaron West. Good opportunity to try to win that, but ACT trying to keep the tying run away from the plate.
Yeah, didn't play in the New South Wales game last night, but was the designated player against SA earlier in the day for a couple of at-bats.
So Jessica Rhodes steps in.
Coach Jenkins throwing everything in this last innings, cleared the bench.
ACT 1 out away from their first victory. They didn't have a team, remember, in the last Gillies Shield.
No, it's 1,200 days since they were here, so it's been a longer wait for them. And but I mean, again, I think when you were talking with the coaches this week, I mean, that their preparation, they've made the best of it.
Training with the men's team.
And you can just see, like, the work that they've done and the team that they've assembled. You can just starting to see it come together already on day 2. You know, like, day one was a tough day for the ACT.
Well, they almost beat New South Wales, don't forget.
And, you know, they just were unlucky. The Victorian game is the one that we didn't get to see, but obviously it all didn't work out in their favour. But today they have, you know, Queensland, plenty of energy early, were super aggressive, was a real exciting start by them, and they jumped them. But ACT, to their credit, held their nerve and just worked back into this game, and Parker and Cooper as a battery combination have just got better as the
Swing
game's
and a
gone.
miss.
Wowee.
A dozen strikeouts
And Cooper
for
goes-
Lauren Parker, and Cooper is loving it. ACT have a win that's a long time in the making. They're on the board with a victory, 7 unanswered, to storm back from 4-0 down to win it.
Yeah, what a game. Well, that's a super game. Like, a couple of different times throughout it, you just would have looked at, but, you know, the pitcher, we saw the best of what we expected to see yesterday, probably. We saw it today. Cooper, super job in the field, great effort. But don't take anything away from Queensland. They definitely came here with a game plan. They pushed lots of young players. I mean, they had a 17-year-old starter, a 16-year-old first base. You know, there was a lot to like about Zunker early. Then there was the Coulter with the pitch, you know, getting hit by the pitch. So, you know, hearts out to Queensland. But look, they're building, they're getting better. So, but yeah, great job by the ACT. And it looks like we're going to cross over to
Dave, and I think it's Lauren. It's Lauren Parker down there.
Yeah.
Dave, let's go down to you with the star of the game, 12 strikeouts from Lauren Parker.
Thanks, guys. Okay, 12 strikeouts. What an outing. Were you feeling good out there?
Yeah, I felt really loose. It was really good.
So you're from New Zealand, if I'm correct. So how much time did you manage to spend with these girls before this competition started?
We came in the day before, so maybe like 3 hours.
So you haven't had that much time to really kind of get gelling with your different battery options, but as soon as Cooper came out here today, her energy and everything must have really lifted you, because from that point on, you were just unstoppable.
It was really good. I mean, we threw together last night, so we just kind of worked out the kinks then, and no, she came in, she really held it down.
Now, for the ACT, this was pretty much not a must win, but you needed this win. There was a big one. So 4-0 to start off with, were you a bit worried? But that was like big comeback coming?
I mean, I wasn't too worried. I mean, I've seen the girls hit, and no, they really pulled through. So, yeah, it was a really good job.
All right, so we're looking forward to seeing more of you.
Cool, thank you.
Cool as a cucumber, that Kiwi. What do you think, Lee?
How good is that?
Excellent. I tell you, blown me away by her attitude.
Yeah.
Her attitude. And the catcher Cooper coming in too. Big plus, wasn't it?
How good is that? How long did you spend with the team? About 3 hours.
Now let's take a look at it from another coaching angle here. You go down 4-0 to Queensland in a game. You know you have 3 games today, ACT. You know you need a win on the board today. You have your ace, Lauren Parker. You're down 4-0. How about the credit to the coaching staff for saying, you know what, we're going to keep our ace in here for a little bit longer and see what happens? Because if you pull the pin too early, then maybe you don't have this comeback.
Yeah, look, I mean, changing a catcher to sort of, you know, get that type of change there. And look, I mean, again, we can't underestimate how hard it is. Like, you've got a pitcher coming in from New Zealand who's obviously a gun in her own environment. But, you know, yesterday she's got New South Wales first up, a catcher that she spent 3 hours, probably done one ballpen with. And as she just said there, and how good was it? You know, we worked out some of the kinks, and Parker just goes on a tear and just shuts him down.
Whoever starts for SA in the game coming up in half an hour is going to have their hands full with this ACT lineup.
Certainly are.
But we've sorry.
Go on. But it's all about communication between the pitcher and the catcher, isn't it? And that's the game can be broken down in its smallest section by the pitcher and the catcher against the batter. That's what it is. They have to work as things like your wife.
Yeah,
you have to work with the catcher.
Yeah.
If you can't work with the catcher, forget it.
Kylie's-
And we talked about Belle White.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't like to pitch to Belle White?
Yeah.
She'd say, you're not doing it right.
Well, like Lauren Parker said, they worked out the kinks, and ACT scores 7 unanswered. They're sitting 1-2, tied with Victoria on that spot in the ladder. Queensland dropped to 0-3. ACT South Australia coming up in about 30 minutes. We'll see you then.